Chapter 1. History of Computers. After this lesson, you will be able to find out the methods of counting used by primitive people, know how computers evolved, identify different calculating devices designed through the years, understand about the different generations of computers. A computer was not what it looks like to you now. It looked very different many years ago. And with the advancement of technology, it kept evolving and changing in shape and size with time. There were many people involved in the development of computers. What is computing? The concept of counting began with the existence of human beings. The first method of counting was counting on fingers. With development, they became more conscious of numbers and invented new methods to keep records of their belongings, like pebbles, stones, sticks, etc. These aids helped in keeping records of herds of animals. This sometimes led to delays and errors, and more dependable methods were needed. New counting system. The history of computers can be traced long back to China around 2000 years ago, where the abacus was designed in order to carry out simple calculations. It is a wooden rack holding two horizontal wires with beads strung on them. Simple arithmetic problems can be done with it easily. The calculations are so fast and accurate that it is widely used till present date to calculate both small and big numbers. Let us take a look at how the computer was developed gradually with time. Pascal's adding machine. The first digital computer was built in 1642 by a French mathematician named Blaise Pascal. He was only 16 years of age when he developed this adding machine. It was the first mechanical calculating machine or calculator and could perform addition and subtraction only. It was called Pascaline. It consisted of several wheels which were marked as hundreds wheels, tens wheels, and units wheels to represent numbers. Blaise Pascal. Pascaline machine. Leibniz machine. In 1671, a German mathematician, Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz, invented a computer based on the concept of Pascal's adding machine, which could perform all four basic mathematical operations, that is, addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, and looked something like the figure shown below. He named this machine Stepped Rechner. Leibniz machine. Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. Electronic digital computers. During the start of World War II, the US military required computers in large quantity. The need for computers was more pronounced and urgent. In 1942, John P. Eckert, John W. Moakley, and their associates decided to build a high-speed electronic computer to do the job. This machine was known as ENIAC, electrical numerical integrator and calculator. John P. Eckert, ENIAC, John W. Moakley. Some of the features of ENIAC were: the ENIAC could multiply two numbers at a rate of 300 numbers per second. ENIAC used 18,000 vacuum tubes, about 1,800 square feet of floor space, and consumed about 1,80,000 watts of electrical power. Computer generations. As time progressed, researchers started thinking in new directions. The existing system needed improvement in its external and internal structure, and many people were involved in the development of computers. In the past 70 to 75 years, it has taken a different form altogether and has been divided into generations. Thus, with each generation came the advancement of technologies in the field of computers. Fact file: the first generation of modern programmable electronic computers was built in 1947. They used random access memory (RAM) and could perform multiplications in 2 to 4 milliseconds. They were practically of the size of a grand piano, but they needed a lot of maintenance. The first generation computers, 1942 to 1954. ENIAC was the first electronic computer. Some of the features of first generation computers have been mentioned here. The first computers used vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory, and were often enormous, taking up entire rooms. They were very expensive to operate, and in addition to using a great deal of electricity, generated a lot of heat. They could only solve one problem at a time. Some of the computers included in this group were Mark I, EDVAC, IBM 60, Mark II, UNIVAC, etc. There were certain limitations in these computers, that is, they occupied a lot of space and were extremely slow. The vacuum tubes used in them generated tremendous heat and their filaments burnt out frequently. The second generation computers, 1956 to 1963. In 1947, the semiconductor technology came into picture with the invention of transistors. The transistor was far superior to the vacuum tube, allowing computers to become smaller, faster, cheaper, more energy efficient, and more reliable than the first generation computers. These were also the first computers that stored their instructions in their memory. High-level languages like BASIC and Pascal were also developed. Examples: IBM 1401, 1620, 7094, and CDC 1604 and 3600. The third generation computers, 1959 to 1971. With the advancement of technology, around the year 1964, the concept of integrated circuit IC came into existence. A single IC, which is a form of electronic circuit, could hold a number of transistors and resistors. Transistors were miniatured and placed on silicon chips called semiconductors, which drastically increased the speed and efficiency of computers. Instead of punched cards and printouts, users interacted with third-generation computers through keyboards, and computers for the first time became accessible to a mass audience because they were smaller and cheaper than their predecessors. Computers of third generations are IBM 360 series, ICL, CDC, PDP, ICL 1900, etc. The fourth generation computers, 1971 to present. The most important electronic device developed during this generation was the microprocessor, which led to the development of microcomputers. Intel chip. The microprocessor brought the fourth generation of computers as thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip. What in the first generation filled an entire room could now fit in the palm of the hand. The Intel 4004 chip, developed in 1971, located all the components of the computer, from the central processing unit and memory to input-output controls, on a single chip. In 1981, IBM introduced its first computer for the home user, and in 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh. Microprocessors also moved out of the realm of desktop computers and into many areas of life as more and more everyday products began to use microprocessors. As these small computers became more powerful, they could be linked together to form networks, which eventually led to the development of the Internet. Fourth-generation computers also saw the development of GUIs, the mouse, and handheld devices. Computers of the fourth generations are personal computer, mini computers, main home computer, supercomputers, high-speed precision computers of today. The fifth generation computers, present and beyond. Generally, computers do not possess intelligence. We have to feed instructions to it correctly. If the logic is incorrect, then it stops the processing, since it does not have any basic intelligence to understand the actual meaning. Fifth generation computing devices are developing computers based on artificial intelligence, that is, making the computers artificially intelligent. The use of superconductors is helping to make artificial intelligence a reality. The goal of fifth generation computing is to develop devices that respond to natural language input and are capable of learning and self-organization. Examples: robots, video games. Fact file. The microprocessor developed by the Intel Corporation, USA, is the most advanced microprocessor currently available in the market. Summary. The first calculating device was abacus, first designed in China some 2,000 years ago. Blaise Pascal built the first digital computer in 1642. In 1671, Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz invented a computer which could add and multiply. Babbage designed an automatic mechanical calculating machine called the difference engine. Charles Babbage gave the ideas for building the modern-day computer through the design of his machine called analytical engine. John P. Eckert and John W. Mauchly designed the ENIAC, the first high-speed electronic computer. Computers have been divided into 5 generations depending upon the machinery and technique used to build them. The Pentium series microprocessor is the most advanced microprocessor currently available in the market. We are presently in the 5th generation of computers. Exercise. Complete